Moi.
And I'm Chris, and welcome to Docu-Sweeties.
We're two longtime friends who discuss the riveting and sometimes trashy world of reality TV and docuseries.
Yes, but through our own lens, which can be lonely sometimes and can be depressed, but also can be filled with friends and company, and I mean, very lively. But at the end of the day, hopefully mildly sweet. Hi.
Hi.
Hey.
So today we're talking 90 Day Fiancé UK Series 3, Episode 9, featuring our good friends of BlightyDay Fiancé, Michelle and Jack. Hi.
Hello. Thank you so much for having us. We are so excited to be here.
Welcome.
Yes.
Thank you
Wait.
so much.
Yeah. Michelle, can you briefly explain to us Blighty and what that means? You've said it to me before, but I want to reintroduce it to the audience.
Yes. So Blighty, which is Blighty, is an old name for England. So it was like a wartime name for England. So that's why, because I'm normally based in England, which I'm not currently, but we called it Blighty Day Fiance, like 90 Day Fiance, and Discovery have not come for us yet. So there's no cease or desist. So for the time being, we get to keep the name.
Great. Well, I love that. And thank you for Expat for coming back and landing on this bald eagle soil. You know what I mean?
Yes. Well, I had to be
Very
here for the
patriotic.
last Independence Day. I had to come here to witness the death of democracy as we know it. So I couldn't stay away for long.
Good to have you back.
Yeah, good to have you back. We needed you
For the funeral.
Yeah, we needed you. Thank you for coming and supporting the family. All right. So, excuse me. Christina, cut this out.
She's dead. You can mute yourself. Okay.
You guys no. So, what were you gonna say, Chris?
Also, yeah, like those feelings is very fun, and we're gonna have a lot of fun when you guys are here. And I'm so excited, and we're excited to have you guys on talking about this episode. But also, there's so much happening in the universe that we can comment, talk about. Not the universe that we're currently in, which we've already just obviously mentioned, and it's horrible, and we're like so sorry for everyone everywhere. And so we've lost ourselves, if you can imagine, into this, nether region of nonsense, and that's what Matt Sharp gives us. So it's another region of nonsense,
but it's good nonsense.
Yeah. I'm excited for this as this season or series shifts downward, as we're kind of like coming to the end, if you will. Stories are wrapping up, but some things are not wrapping up to people's dreams, as we should say.
Yeah. All right. Speaking of not wrapping up to someone's dreams, let's start with Charlotte and Johan, or Johan if you're Danielle and Johan.
Yeah.
So we start off this episode with a sad situation for Charlotte. So Charlotte said that her father went into the hospital about 5 weeks ago with pneumonia. Turns out he had advanced cancer and died. So this is 5 weeks post his death. And it was I felt like there was a moment in there where she definitely like chin upped. She did the British thing. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, if my father died 5 weeks ago, I would be underneath the house buried. Like, I don't know that I wouldn't be okay. So the fact that she's able, the fact that she's able to just like chip, pip, pip, keep it moving. And like, they have this scene where she walks into her living room, her parlor, and she sits on her couch with her shoes up on the chair. And I was like, disgusting. And she goes through a photo album, looking through her father, saying that he was the best chap. And this is where we find out that, her father has been married 3 times, and so is her mother. So it is an interesting situation with that. So
she's also dyed her hair teal, which I thought was just maybe part of the mourning process. And she has dark hair. So you never get to see dark hair girlies do like a lot of like color. And I liked it.
I didn't notice that it was teal. Like, I thought it was just
subtle.
Yeah, I didn't know. It's so dark that you would not. I didn't see it.
As a man who's never dyed his hair before, do you have to strip the hair to make it teal if you have dark hair?
It's interesting because usually, yes, especially if you want it to be bright. But with hers, it was almost like teal highlights. So that's what I think she did. I think that she only bleached certain parts of her hair and then went back in those parts and did like a, teal. But it was also washing out at the time. So maybe the entire thing was just like done yesterday and already on its way out. I'm not quite sure.
It was a 24-hour situation.
Yeah.
So she's gone from, and speaking as someone who sadly lost my dad 2.5 years ago, and still, like, I'm a daddy's girl like you two are, and it leveled me. I mean, I had to take some serious time out, but it's nice that she's channeling it into something creative, and she's already signaling to the world that she's bisexual by dyeing her hair teal, and she's ready to move right on ahead into a polygamous relationship. So.
Yeah,
I wish.
Speaking of moving right on ahead, she calls Johan and she's like, "Hey, guess what? Life's too short. Let's get married now." So she expedites the wedding. So there's no more beach wedding, and it's happening in September. I can only assume that it's August 1st, 2023, because it feels very, very quick that this is happening. And so he agrees to this. And then we meet her best friend, Maria, who is beautiful. We meet her beautiful ass best friend, Maria, and she's been her friend for 12 years. And Charlotte is in the kitchen. And Maria comes over, and Charlotte is making the Charlotte special for dinner. Can anyone guess as to what this is?
Okay. You know the Hillshire Farm sausages that your parents would get in the 90s, and you would slice them on the bias?
Yep. Oh, I get them now. There's not in the 90s. What are you talking about?
Bringing the 90s back. Wow.
I do like them. I do like them. No, I do like them.
It was turkey sausage for me because my mom was permanently on the South Beach diet.
Oh, well, it's healthier. It's healthier, the pork. It felt like that. It felt like sausage, you know, like I wanted to see the entire thing, but unfortunately, like as she's cooking and as I'm trying to look at the food, because I'm obsessed with food in my own way, we all have issues or whatever. Like, and as she tells her friend, who, by the way, I thought was nice looking, very fine looking, you know, like a lovely looking lady that now you are just like have given the name.
How the tables have turned.
She's a lovely lass, you know what I'm saying? Like, but you know, but I don't know what the word you said. I've never heard it before. So that's Maria though, you know, and then this is the thing that like escalates it. From that moment, she tells Maria that like it's all happening, and Maria's like, it's a horrible idea. And then we're going to I'm gonna say hendo party.
Michelle, explain.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Bachelorette parties in the UK are called hen do's.
Oh,
so you have a stag do and you have a hen do.
Okay. So it's like bachelorette and bachelor party.
Yes. So in Australia, I believe it's bucks, and they do bucks instead of stags.
Oh.
And I think it's
Vixen?
hens still. Oh, okay. And no, see, that would make sense, but I don't know why we've got
fox. So it would be a buck and a doe, right?
I would think.
Yeah. Okay.
You would think, but somehow we always have to put chicken in it. So I had a hen do. I didn't have a bachelorette party.
So theirs is not a rooster?
No.
Okay, so women are hens. They get a deer. Are stags. They get a deer.
Yes. Yeah.
And the women don't get a doe, but the men get a buck in Australia, and the women don't become whatever a buck, whatever the opposite. I don't know, because a vixen is a female fucking fox. That's what I do.
Yeah. No, I think there's still chickens in Australia too.
And a reindeer.
Is this just to avoid the uncomfortability of a hen do and a cock do? Because that would be the other, you know?
Cock do.
Right.
Cock-a-doodle do. Cock-a-doodle do. That's like very luxe. Can I ask a question, Michelle? What did you do on your hen do? And do you have any hen do's and don'ts?
Oh, as a matter of fact, yes. So my friend was very lucky because this was like just after lockdown, and she had the great idea of hiring a nude model to come pose for us, and he came with a sort of MC who he calls himself a creative facilitator, but really like he just gets drunk and takes pictures with you and, you know, does lots of penis themed things. So it was really fun. I mean, the model was gorgeous and we got to like pose him however we wanted. And it was at my friend's husband's like big, huge mansion. So it was really nice. It was great.
Let's roll back a little bit. You can pose him however you wanted is what I heard. And I just want to know, was there any like saucy girls who were like, I know a pose, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We were all saucy. Like seriously, There was a point where the creative facilitator was like, and now you can be part of it. And all my friends were like, get the fuck out of my what? It was that kind of a vibe. Of just wanting to curl around this gorgeous naked man.
Yeah. Wait, Jack, do you have any fun like bachelor party like situations that happened to you? Any stag or buck?
Okay, now I'm not like I'm not a strip club guy. I've never been a strip club guy. But nothing against it. I will tell you, no, this was when I was like 18, 19, 20, not too long ago, a little while ago.
Last year.
Last year. I went to a couple of bachelor parties of some older friends, and I think I got scarred because a lot of American bachelor parties involve the groom-to-be getting stripped naked by a stripper in the hotel room, let's say. And it's basically and at least in my experience, it's to make the groom feel super uncomfortable. And it was a lot of like squeezing whipped cream on the guy, and and then you just have a bunch of dirtbag friends in a bathtub full of beers. So I have to say, my stag party situations, you know what? I've been a solo stag roaming the wilds. I'll put it to you that way.
Yeah.
Been a little
So
bit
you don't
easier
have
for
any
me.
male friends. Yeah.
I have male
You're like the guy.
friends.
What was that? No, but what was the movie with Paul Rudd where I'm sorry, you don't have straight male friends. What was the
my
movie where
straight male
Paul Rudd
friends are
was
going to
getting
be
married
upset.
and
I Love You, Man, I
Yeah,
think is what
that
you're
one.
thinking of.
Oh, okay.
What did you do for your bachelor party though?
My bachelor party was boring. I went and watched a baseball game in Philadelphia with two friends. I will say now that is partially, I've been with my wife for 20 years, and we were together for 10 years before we got married. So
30 years. That's
well, no,
a
not
lot
30.
Wild.
20 total. 10 and 10.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yes. I'm not.
No,
I
thought
see.
the same thing.
I
We've
said
been
10.
getting. I've been getting comments.
I thought you were
that,
19 yesterday. What didn't we just establish, Jack, that last year you were 19?
We're confusing the listeners because they all think that my voice makes me about 60 years old. So I've been trying to fix this as I pop up with my real face, unless I just look really fantastic for 60.
Yeah, amazing for 60.
I mean, LA.
It's kind of like 90 Day Fiancé with Clayton and his friend, and how they just like hung out with a bunch of inflatables in the rented Airbnb. That sounds like you and your friend, which is fine. It's fine, Jack.
There was adult entertainment, just not in the hotel.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Baseball's adult entertainment. No, I guess it's for
there you
kids
go.
too.
Yeah.
Well, I went to Philadelphia, so make of that what you will.
I've never been, don't know about it. So Hindu, okay, so Hindu, no, Hindu. Not Hindu.
Not the religion.
Not the religion.
No, not the religion.
They're at now, listen, let me tell you. Charlotte is wearing a fabulous white sequin wrapped dress.
Yep.
It is fucking fabulous on her. And she's got on a pair of what looks to be maybe some silver studded Louboutins, but they may not be, but they were still very cute, high, pointy silver shoes. And then someone gets her a hat, like one of the Village people that says bride on it. And I love that as well. I loved that as well. So she gets in there, she gets to the party. There are some people who knew they were going to be on camera and some people who didn't know they were going to be on camera, or some people who don't understand what camera makeup looks like versus not camera makeup. There was a blonde-haired biddy whose looked like their ends had just been seen too much bleach, and the lip was very much concealer lipped. It was like 2009.
It's that part of the country is very they're not ready to let go of like office wear as club wear going out, where they're still very much in that smoky eye, concealer lip, super high bun, that they haven't really been able to let go of that.
Yeah,
so
that's exactly what it was. It was like, you're
that's
right,
a feature of that area. Yep.
Absolutely. But wait, I love this part so much. So obviously, whatever, this is her thing, or her friends are there. She walks in, they're all wearing Johan masks or whatever. She's like, oh, so many Johans. This is my dream come true. I wouldn't know what to do if I was surrounded by so many Johans. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, fuck all the faces of your friends? I'm not quite sure. But she kept talking about it. But then they play this little game, and it's like, like the bridal, whatever, like the little game you would play. Like, really, it's like the kind of game that I think you play at a bridal shower. But I'm a little like, is the Hindu? Sorry, the Hindu, just kidding. The Hindu, it's the bridal shower and bachelorette party together, right?
Yes, because the big difference between the way that bachelorette parties are done in the US and the way that they're done in the UK is that, and it's the same on the men's side as well, is that the parents are often involved. So like the mom usually comes to the hen do and participates in that. So in many ways it is, a bridal shower too.
They
And
did
they do
not
the
invite the moms. Charlotte's mother was not in attendance.
No, I'm pretty sure, well, she may have been invited, but it's not her scene, I don't think. I don't think she loves I don't think that's her.
I don't. She's like not interested in them getting married, but also this is her. She's been married 3 times too, so I'm like, we can't just come to your daughters first. Like,
I know.
Yeah. So what they do is they actually have her sit apart from everyone as though she's going to be stripped on, as though there was going to be a man that is going to come and like gyrate his schlong in front of her. And all they do is ask her these questions where they're like, we contacted Johan and we asked him questions. And so now we want to see how well you know him. And so they had his
I had
voice.
that game too.
Okay, so it's a popular, boring.
What is this?
It's a popular game.
Like the match game, essentially?
No, it's a little bit like the newlywed game where you have to guess what the other person's answer is.
Right.
Yes. Like, what is your favorite body part on your partner? And they're like, well, he loves my tits. And then he's just like, her brain, and she's like, oh,
Yeah.
I thought you'd love this part because they're like, they start off really easy. They're like, Johan, like, what's your favorite food? And she's like, I know it. No, I know it. It's chicken, rice, and peas. And then like, they're like, play the voice note and he's like, chicken, rice, and beans. And I wondered in that moment if she really thought it was peas. Or
no, they just call it that.
And I because I looked up, and let me tell you right now, a pea is not a bean. A pea is a legume.
Yes.
But a bean is a legume.
And that part, there's the rub.
So in Afro-Caribbean, I can only speak for the diaspora in London, but but rice, they call rice and beans rice and peas. And I imagine that extends to
Dominican Republic.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, she got it right. And I wanted to say that is exactly the most delicious meal. So many cultures make a chicken, rice, and bean like situation. Like even as like Arabs, they'll do like the bean is the garbanzo bean, honey. Okay, it's a bean, and then there's a rice, there's a chicken. There's a chicken, rice, and beans in almost every single culture except for like Anglo, and it is delicious in whatever form you want it into. So you can say chicken, rice, and beans, and I'm like, I'm down. Slide it on this way, please. If we're gonna put a little plantain in it, I'll take that as well. But
I agree. The arroz con pollo in the Dominican Republic, best rice and chicken bean dish that exists.
Yes. yes. You can get arroz con pollo in Puerto Rico too. So it's just like all delicious. So that was an easy question, truthfully. Like, what, you know what I mean? It's like being like, what's your favorite food if you're like Mexican? Tacos is most likely the answer. You know what I mean? Like I know there's like, we like albondigas, like people like tortas, you know what I mean? But like tacos is high on the fucking list of delicious ass food from that country. So they have a good time there, and it looks like she is feeling great, and I love the support of her friends, even though none of her friends support her.
Nope.
Hate her for this. Yeah.
They think she's making the worst mistake ever.
They think she's dumb as bricks. And she feels bad about that. She's like, I wish someone would have like some positive, notion about that. Because even her friend during this party is like, aren't his answers a little safe? They ask him, of course, like, what do you love about her? Maybe like, I forgot if it was like body centered, or maybe it was body centered. Like, what's your favorite part of her body? And he's like, her heart. What did he say?
Yeah, it was like something very much like the whole thing. I love every part of her,
soul.
like that. And they were like,
yeah. How do I pick?
suspicious. Suspicious. Like, you know.
Yeah, they didn't believe it.
But what do we think they talk about? Like what are their WhatsApp chats? I mean, that's what I always try to think about with these long distance ones where there's absolutely no chemistry between them whatsoever. Is like, what do you fill that gap with? And I think it really is only like, I love you too, I miss you too, can't wait to see you, can't wait to see. So like, they don't, you know. Emojis, she doesn't know what his favorite movie is. Yes, emojis and pictures.
It's a lot. I think it's a lot of memes, a lot of emojis, a lot of pictures. You know, like I think it's a lot of like weird GeoCity animatronic, like bears, you know, from like a GeoCities website, just like, you know, like blinking and staring at each other, like those kind of weird memes, you know, like that.
And WhatsApp makes it so easy to download them. There's just this guy, my Guatemalan bae used to send me like the picture of either a fox or a dog, like kissing aggressively, just so many hearts. And I would be like, what, sir? Like, what? Why is this so aggressive? But yeah, like that is what they do. They're like, what are you doing? I'm helping my mother. Oh, tell her I said hi. Okay.
I have a question for everyone here. Just about this, which is your favorite part of her body? Is there a right answer to this for him? Like,
titties.
Let's say he, okay. So if he just says titties, like that's my favorite, that would have gotten the, okay.
Eyes, face. I think face could be really great.
More than heart.
If someone said your face, I'd be like,
my favorite part of you is the part I can't see that's inside your body. I don't know that works great.
It's your femur.
I
Oh.
love her tibias. They're fantastic.
My tibias?
Hyoid bone is just amazing.
I'll be honest. If a man told me that my my collarbone or décolleté was his favorite part, I'd be like,
pearl necklace?
Huh. Yeah.
That's what I think.
I've complimented a woman's clavicles before, you know?
No, that is, but he really did. He really did. Like, we were guests on the LA show that Reality Gaze did, and before we went out, I was like freaking out, like I was crying, and Jack is like, your clavicles look beautiful, and I'm like, but I'm wearing something that goes up to here.
I'll just put this into context for everyone. My parents got divorced when I was like 7. My dad was around, but I didn't live with him. So I lived with my mother, my sister who's 5 years older. My grandmother lived in the building. So I was just surrounded by women all the time. So I try to go off the beaten path when complimenting.
That is off of the path. That is a journey to the left, downhill, and into the Borough Whites. You know what I mean? This is a Fellowship of the Ring journey that you took, all right? Okay. So there's that.
I like it. All I'm saying is the favorite part, but I think I'd be into it like if it was just a conversation kind of compliment. All right, guys,
let's move on. Yeah, thank you for doing my job. So the next couple that we're going to talk about is latecomers to the party, Jose and Luis. Now, Jose is such a weirdo, and his laugh is too much. Yes, it's too much. So we start off this one with the new song, with him in a fro, and the new song, which is like, the fro is so unnecessary because you know that you need to braid it at night. That man does not go to sleep like that. And if he does, his hair is really tangled. So he's been singing his new song all day and night. Everybody knows like the song. And he's got the most chapped lips to be had. Yes. And it's like he's just not acclimated to the UK weather. Like, Michelle, how long did it take your skin to get acclimated to that like cold weather?
Oh, it was horrible. And for the first time, I arrived in sort of late December, early January to do like an acting class, and my skin was so dry. And but the rest of the time it's sort of like there's always moisture in the air and there's no sun, hence why I haven't really aged in 10 years because there's really, people talk about the rain in Seattle being bad. This is cloud cover like you've never seen in your life. It is just Payne's gray all year round. What I'm curious about is like, what's his pubic hair situation? If that's what we're working with on top, what have we got on the bottom?
Ooh, Jack, what do we think?
Well, I will say I have not seen, as a groomer, I'm a man who grooms, okay? But I will say I have not seen Jose pick his hair at all. So now I just had a thought of, where'd that pick go? So maybe the pick is stuck in his pubic hair, because if he has that going on the top of his head, does he just have like a 70s
bush?
female, like a woman's bush, basically?
Yeah.
Is that what he's working with?
I can only imagine. So the thing is, so with that type of hair, you have to like corn roll it or braid it or something at night. Like you can sleep on it, but it is unhealthy and it's not good for the hair. You want to put like a bonnet, or you want to put it in braids. Both,
Now,
is what you need.
if he did just go to sleep on that hair, what would it look like when he wakes up in the morning?
Matted. It's gonna be like stuck to the hair, the scalp, and so he's gonna have to then pick it out. And so he does a lot of work to get camera ready, is what I'm saying. And we even see him get his hair washed in this episode too, where he goes somewhere and some lady who understands curls and coils is doing his hair, but the whole time he's singing to her, so of course she's hating every moment of it.
I mean, this song is so fucking bad. We played it before. I mean, he just sings it night and day in this house, and it's just like, he then decides that he's going to storyboard the video, as any creative artist does when they have to like do a project. And he just gets like one piece of paper. And I was so confused. I'm like, is this the first shot or whatever? But he just starts drawing. I mean, a picture. And his drawings are rudimentary at best, but it's like a Hummer, but it's in the video, they don't get a Hummer, but it's like, they just want like rap or hip hop aligned images, like woman dancing with a butt, like fur, like fake fur. But the worst part is, and this is the part that's really unforgivable, because at some point we have to understand this is a grown-ass man, and he can't be spending all his time on what he thinks is a career when it's actually a hobby. Now, I didn't know for sure what was happening until he was like, okay, and we're gonna have your son be the whatever, like, cameraman. Now, I know, just like you guys do, that this is all the producers trying to make something happen, because this means there's basically no storyline for them. And I think literally put the camera on the baby and let me watch for 45 minutes. I'd rather. But
the son. So let me just explain that.
Yes.
Jose ends up asking Luis's son to be the cameraman because Luis doesn't have any friends.
Jesse.
And so then they get Jesse to do it. And it's an awkward conversation because Jesse's like, I never talked to him. This is the first time he's spoken to me, and we live in the same house. And like, he's now asking me to be his cameraman. So I guess I'll do it. And I wonder to myself, is Jesse jealous of the fro that Jose is able to grow and that he's not? Feels like hateration in the dancery, personally.
How would he not be jealous? I mean, I have to say, and for whatever we think of the fashion choices of Jose, that's a marvelous fro. I mean, that's like next level. I've gotten to that point before myself, pandemic era time, but I can't say it was that perfect. I mean, that is like a globe on his head.
It's a Jackson 5 fro, which is
yes, top tier. There you go. That's what it reminded me of. I couldn't place it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Okay, so basically, yeah, Jesse has to say yes, and then that's where I'm like upset, because I'm like, how is no one knows how to work a camera or whatever, and they give him what looks like a GoPro, which I was confused about that, or like, I don't know. I mean, it was a confusing camera choice. Okay, and
the camera was a GoPro. So Jesse has this little ass. I don't have any. It's a shot glass. A little ass camera where he's like,
yes,
he has to watch.
Yeah, you don't get. Yeah, that's. I think she's put him in situations like that probably his entire life.
Yeah.
Like, I think that I call her misery tits because she's a beautiful woman with a great body. But what she's serving is from here down, it's all party, 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 right? And
Mhm.
it's the single ladies outfit, and it's the, reclining, semi-nude, whatever. It's she's giving you some Fosse moves, but the face 100% of the time is this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sad. Forlorn.
like-
I'm seeing melancholy.
Jose
Yes.
is really trying to have a career for us, and I want to give him credit for trying. But and then Jesse's like, it's not working. It's not enough. And like,
Yeah.
but she keeps on, she's 40, Jose is 29, and she keeps on like giving him the benefit of the doubt in the way that no Westerner has ever done in 90 Day Fiancé history, which is so admirable to watch her not be so angry at him. Because if this were any other couple, 90 Day UK or US, she would be pissed.
Yeah.
She
Can
would be
you
pissed.
imagine Angela with
Oh
sorry,
my
I always get their
God.
names confused with Jose.
Don't worry.
Can you imagine
Louise?
like day one with him? She would be like,
Okay.
"Get the fuck out of here! What are you doing? What are you doing looking at your YouTubes on the phone?
What are you doing over here looking at YouTube? You're dating, trying to fuck other women? Like what? It's like what?
But
I've
how
been
do
on
they pay for
YouTube the whole
things?
time.
How do they pay for
I will-
things? Like, how do they pay
tell
for
you
their
how
life?
they pay for things?
Oh,
I
tell
will
us.
tell you. Okay. Now this is just a theory that I have. Right. You have to meet a certain minimum income requirement unless you are on welfare, as it should be. Okay.
Mhm.
I think the reason why he can't get a job is because if he gets a job, then they're not on welfare anymore and they don't do those expenses. And I think she's done a couple of workarounds, like OnlyFans wise, where she has income that she doesn't declare. She's probably not declaring any of her SpawnCon income. So she definitely gets, I mean, even I get disability. I'm not going to complain. Like everyone who is disabled should get disability. I'm not, but they are definitely claiming welfare, or universal credit, which will keep them on the level that they're at. And especially the more children you have, that's more money coming in.
What's
So
Michelle,
I think
What's
would you-
SpawnCon?
Sorry.
sponsored content. So like when they had this weird like Pampers ad or something that they did. So stuff that like selling shit on Instagram.
Yeah.
So I think there's a little bit of a shady situation happening there, because I think they're telling the government, we are not working. There's nothing coming in. There's 2 adults that live in this house and that's it. And neither of us can work. Yes.
Now, Michelle, are you saying that if Jose started working, they might actually have less money than they do right now if they had to start
They will
declaring
for sure have
everything?
less money. Yeah.
Yeah, that's in the US too. So
Yeah, it's a trap and
yeah.
it's sad.
It's a silly trap that they set up for no reason. Okay. So the last scene for them is that they have a scene where they're doing the music video outside of the car and she's rubbing her butt up against his junk, and it makes her son very uncomfortable. She doesn't give a fuck about Jesse because he's an adult in her mind, and so like get over it. She has a new kid, Raul. Then we have another scene where they're actually inside this like Buick limo or something.
Skylark.
Yeah, and they're like doing the same thing, like dancing or whatever, and she's like, oh yeah, Chris has a picture up that says fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, and then horses, gay. It would be amazing if this track took off. It would be amazing if this track took off and Jose was able to make some money for me and Raul and the family. But hopefully many people see this music video and like we're all just like here, like, should we Google the music video? No.
Not from what I saw, honey. I don't even see him. Like, first of all, he's just humping her from behind, and at one point puts his like every take, because he does it twice. He puts his leg up like a fire hydrant, like if like fucking her from behind isn't too much. And I know it.
Ew.
While her son GoPros it, happened each take, which meant it was intentional. Each time he did a take, honey, Jesse was like, I want to burn my eyeballs out of my fucking head. Why is this happening to me? How do you have no one else here? Like, I mean, yeah, I mean, I would also wonder, how did she even have money to get all like the visa shit to like have them come over? But I don't know. God bless. It seems like they are.
Well, she does. That's the thing. If you're on welfare, you don't need to. There's considerable cost cutting, but I think, and our producer will know this because they used to be an immigration caseworker, so they know all the laws. But I think they have changed it so that that's no longer a way in. So a lot of the people that we see on the show now, I don't really know what the future of this franchise is, to be honest, because they've raised the income threshold so high, and if they deny it to people who are on welfare, then I don't know that we'll be seeing, the same kind of people. I think it would it would exclusively be old white dudes and Asian women, probably.
Speaking of old white dudes and Asian women, let's move on to Nui and Tony.
Everybody's favorite.
So
we knew that he was Satan, but he's Satan. He's Satan.
Tony has some growing up to do,
Satanic
and some
person.
like he's a narcissist. He's like a hardcore narcissist that thinks he's doing better. And he's not. So, okay. So we have a scene where Nui gets dressed to meet his friends and she's excited. He's excited. She says that he loves it when she dresses sexy for him. And so I immediately think there's going to be an issue. She explains to us that the culture in Britain is different than the culture in Thailand because it's much more of a drinking culture. And she just hopes that he's not going to go there and do too much. But remember, Tony is a guy who likes to dress well, wear nice loafers and watches, and champagne like London life, whatever that means. It's like, it sounds very Essex to me. I don't know what that means, but that's what I'm guessing.
No, you're right on the money, because it's not, that isn't what rich people do in London or what classy people do in London. And I'm not trying to, like, I've got, my in-laws are all in Essex, so I'm not going to talk shit about Essex, but that is like, that is a person on the outside's idea of what it means to be like high class, and it just isn't. Like in London, you can tell how rich someone is by, like, if you go into a pub in Chelsea or a rich neighborhood, you want to look for a guy with an expensive watch, he's wearing Ferragamos, and his teeth are the worst fucking cemetery situation you've ever seen in your life.
Chewing on rocks?
The worse their teeth are, the more expensive the shoes, the more expensive the watch. That's what you want to go for. That's who's going to buy you. Like, I did this when I was in law school.
Notes. I see you.
I went out with a friend of mine, and I went to Bath, which is like west of
Bath.
London.
Chris and I went to Bath and we bathed.
Oh, amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So my friend and I, no word of a lie, went into this pub, and I was like, that guy. I walked up to his table. First I did the walk past, and then I came back again and I said, I saw you staring at me, and just kind of started this thing. And sure enough, he owned the Bath rugby team, and he paid for our drinks all night long and all night strong.
Oh my God. I saw you staring at me. That's what you said. Okay. In my mind, you said, chip, chip, oh boy.
No.
That is what started the conversation.
I said, I saw you staring at me, and I want to ask you a question. He goes, okay. And I said, close your eyes. And he closes his eyes. I said, what color are my eyes? And he's like, green. And I was like, oh, you owe my friend and I a bottle of champagne.
Chris, are you writing this down? We need this.
I do not have the confidence for this. I have never had the confidence for this.
You guys, you and Chris need to go out and to teach Chris some skills.
I will mentor you. I will teach you how to fleece old rich men.
It's perfect. Jack, any tricks of the trade?
Any tricks of the trade?
Oh my God!
I'm sorry.
Are you guys housewives?
Any tips to give? I think Mom had like tips to give us for reducing rich men.
Because Jack, Luann from Real Housewives of New York really wanted to fuck him, and they lived in the same building, and so Jack knows how to romance rich ladies from the Upper East Side.
Seasoned
Yeah.
women, as we call them. Seasoned
women.
There you
Yes.
go. The weird thing when I walked my dogs with Luann a few times, but our voices are at the same register, so we were sort of canceling each other out when we were speaking.
That's so funny.
Do your impression. Do your impression of you and Luann having a conversation.
Well, no, it just here's my impression of Luann. Hi, I'm the Countess, and then I say, "Hi, I'm Jack." That was basically the interplay.
I'm the Countess.
So going after men, you know what? I actually could use some pointers from my mother, who could use a new man. So, Michelle, feel free to share some of those pointers. And I just have to ask, that was kind of like England specific. Do you think the same thing holds true here in the US for roping an older man?
I would say so. It's intriguing. I'd be intrigued.
You have to. The thing is, you need to. They really like being humiliated and embarrassed. So that's how you set it up, and you knock it down by taking them out of their comfort zone, because no one talks to them like no one will ever say to them, "I saw you looking at me," right? Everyone's coming up to them being like, "Ooh," like talking in soft voices, and you have to be the bitch who says something. And they've never been spoken to like that in their lives, and within 3 minutes they're ultra hard and they're paying for your drinks all night.
Oh my God, that is
they're
ideal.
popping Viagra, revving up the Land Rover, and taking you to their country house and offering to buy you your own house in like Saint-Tropez that they can go visit you in. Okay.
So according
just
to
saying.
Michelle, you just need
Love
to
that.
neg an older man, and then you can get him.
Then we'll become countesses ourselves. That's
Yes.
we get land over barrenness, whatever it is.
That's the thing. And they actually prefer a woman in their 30s or 40s, because the 20-year-olds they're
Seasoned.
exhausted by. Yes,
Oh,
they love
thank
a seasoned
God.
woman.
Oh,
yeah.
You're dumb. No,
I need to
it's
go.
us.
I need to go there. Okay.
We're like wine.
So we get Nui and Tony at the spot with all of his like 10 friends. It's just her and 10 bearded men. And I am in heaven. That is the name of like whatever porn I'm gonna be in. It's me and 10 bearded men. And so she then they're having a good time. All the friends are like, he's changed, he's a different person than what he used to be. And she's like, oh my God, he talks about me to you. And they're like, yeah. And she's like, oh, I love that. Hee. It's all a lot of like hand over mouth, hee. And then we kind of go away from them. And then when we come back, we find out it's been like a couple days later. And Nui tells us that he got too drunk and she wanted to leave, and they got into some kind of like verbal altercation, and he walked away from her and left her. So she then went her own way, got a hotel, and has been staying in the hotel. And so now where we pick up is that she's going to his apartment to talk to him finally, because they haven't talked to each other in a couple days. Chris, what were you going to say?
Yeah, so horrible other things. First of all, he left her and he hasn't even like called her or like to make sure that she's okay. And later on, it will be revealed. Well, first of all, it will be revealed that he said like a bunch of shady ass shit when he was drunk. Like, that we're in my country now and you got to do what I want to do. And like, I can, like this is my law, my town, like bullshit like that. But this is, I think, the most unforgivable act. How was this not on tape? I'm sorry, 90-Day Crew. You knew you were going to go out with Cocky McGee, like all with his fucking friends. We've already set up how drunk he always gets with these huge amounts of like big, army weight lifting men. And then we know that she's upset. Like, what part did you leave them at? You should have been there the entire time. Of course he's going to get too drunk. Of course they're going to be in a fight. The fact that you knew that, set it up, and it's not on camera is wild to me. Like, I mean, I think to me a producer should be fired for that. Anyway.
I agree. And I also think it's a safety issue, like that's not taking care of. I mean, exactly. And it's difficult because it's now again, you didn't hear this from me, but I'll share with the listenership. So don't ask me how I know this, but I know this. The 90-Day UK cast this show is treated as a documentary and not as a reality show, so they only get a per diem. No one is making money off of this. The cast don't make anything off of this, not one red cent. Okay, so it's documentary rules also, which governs, how much caretaking the production company has to do, and the labor standards and all of that. So but it's negligent to purposely put someone in a situation like that where their safety is threatened. And I hate it when it happens on these shows, just in general, because it takes me out of the show, and I'm like, it's not fun anymore once somebody's actually in physical danger. You know what I mean? Like, and this guy will snap her a fucking hyoid bone in a New York minute. This is not someone in control of his anger at all.
Just one thought as to why they may have not had this on camera. Wasn't it Tony's friend who needed to be edited out because he had some sort of horrific tattoo on his arm? Wasn't that Tony's?
They fully blurred his face. If there was there was a person who was there whose face was blurred.
Okay, so there might have. I just wonder, like, the types of people who Tony might consort with. Are they maybe not ready for primetime television?
I think they certainly. Yeah, that's not a group of. That's not a section of the population that loves immigrants to begin with, or women, or people, or people of color. Yeah, exactly. So that's. Yeah, it's tough. And especially and I get a lot of shit for saying this, but it is the truth. It is worse the further north you go in England. There are certain parts of the country that are not very welcoming. I'll just put it that way.
So the next thing that ends up happening is that she comes to his apartment or the Airbnb he rented, and she knocks on the door, and he opens the door and he says hello to her, and she walks in and says something to him, which isn't hello. And he makes her exit the apartment and go back and do it again because he feels like she disrespected him, and he's not going to allow that shit to happen. And when that happened, I said, oh, he's a narcissist, and he thinks he's in recovery, but he's not. He needs to control every single facet of it. She tries to talk to him when she's finally allowed in, and she's like, this is how you made me feel. And he's like, well, you did the same thing. You didn't call me either. You didn't do this either. He throws it right back at her.
Yep.
Yeah. He throws it right back at her. And so then he's like, then she's talking to him, and he's like, well, I can see you're upset. And since you're upset, this conversation is not going to go anywhere. So I think that you need to leave. He kicks her out of his home because the conversation isn't happening in the way in which he feels like he has the upper hand, or he feels like he's given an equal share of the blame as opposed to it just all being his fault. And then to the confessional, he's like, well, you're right. I guess I shouldn't have just left her because she is here by herself. I'm the only person she knows. So that is wrong of me. But he's not going to say that to her on camera.
You're right. And
this fucking lipless 5'8" in Cuban heels, plastic surgery having, tan in a can, limp dick, like gay for pay motherfucker.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All those guys, honey, all those guys. Cookie, all those guys every night in the chambers. I mean, talk about war stories. The mask got torn up, and it wasn't the other side.
My soul has left my body for that read. That was a boots the house down motherfucking Michelle from BlightyDay Fiancé read. Yes.
Big time.
There's
Michelle, you've left us speechless.
That's his number. His name is his number.
I've said on a previous episode, so they're called ex-military are called squatties in the UK. And they are most frequently spotted as like on Adult Friend Finder or things like that. And they want to be the person who fucks your wife while you watch. Like that's where they're most
comfortable.
Yeah.
Mm.
So it's that kind of situation. You know, the whole time they're just trying to convince themselves that, you know, that guy Hassan that they met didn't mean anything. And it was just like, you know, it was the whatever, the craziness of war. And he definitely wasn't attracted to that prison guard. And he definitely wasn't, you know, like that's just normal guy stuff. It's fine.
Oh, just repressed behavior that only can be like fertilized and or grown in this very specific militaristic environment.
But alcohol certainly helps, and that's why he loves it. Because
Loves
men
it.
like that who likes to be in control all the time, when he gets to have a taste of like having a reason to not be in control in the drinking culture, gives you that. Like if
Yep.
if everyone drinks and that's fine, and everyone knows what drunk means, and that's just me being drunk, then someone who wants to let loose and wants to and is a fucking monster underneath, all of that's going to come out, and he wants it to come out. And so yeah, he can't wait to get drunk again. And she's like, no, you're a fucking nightmare drunk. Like who knows exactly what he said, like what she says he said, which is basically, again, like you don't get to do anything in this country, and this is my country, you have to listen to me, and this is whatever, God bless. That is wild to say to someone in the actual like status of what they are. Like that is so manipulative. It's so fucked up. Like, I'll be honest, I would have, if I were her, not been in a hotel that whole time. I'd been like, oh, fuck you. Get all his friends, be like, he's a pig. And I would just like immediately take my expensive and like fine life and get back to business with my daughter. Honey, I'd be back there.
Yeah, she is 100 pounds soaking wet, 4'11". You know what I mean? So for him to even have the muscle structure in his mouth to swill around spit, to say anything to her of like, you're in my country, what does that even have to do with anything? She's coming to visit you. She's not coming here to move here, to take over. She's not trying to get a business. She's not trying to like whatever. She
hates her fucking country
to be here. She doesn't even want to be here. It's only because you don't want to necessarily move to her country that she's here to see if she's going to like it. So it's just like crazy that would even be his like first thing, is to just go very patriotic and very colonialism.
Do you think he has any game plan as to how he would make this work? Or do you think he's such a narcissist, as you said, that he has no intention of making this work and doesn't really care how he makes her feel?
I don't think he knows how to make it work. I think he might have the intention to do so, but I think someone having the intention to do something and then actually executing it are completely different spaces in the brain, and it's like a different path to get there.
Yeah.
He's a real fucking lowlife. And if he doesn't think that she can throw a nickel and hit 20 sex tourists that have way more money than he does, then he's got another thing coming, because he's
hot.
The most important thing is that he's lipless, and that is a crime beyond any crimes. All right. So moving on to Kathleen and Jamie. I cannot stand Jamie.
Hi.
I think Kathleen is mad at me, and I don't know why. I've no idea. He is like the exact stereotypical of what you expect a British. Like she makes me feel like a naughty schoolboy. It's like, no, what? Okay, so we start off this episode where Jamie and his mother have a conversation because she invited Tess, which is the girl that he cheated on her with, quote unquote. And so there's this right before the party, and the mother's like, what, with her blue eyeliner and her sunken in eyes and her small features
and her concealer mouth again,
lipstick. Yeah.
She's like, well, I don't want Kathleen to be mad at you. It's me who did it, but I guess I can see how that would be a problem. And next time I'm gonna ask you first before I invite your ex-girlfriend to the current party of me and my whatever, right? So
and we all know she was their fucking scullery maid, right? Like,
is that what it is?
We all know.
We guessed it.
I think so.
We guessed that that's what it was, but we didn't know what was going on. We're like, why is she friends with? And I hate to say it like this because help. Why is she? What is the connection between Tess and her?
Nope. She was the connection is she had to have been a domestic worker, probably for his family, probably for a couple of other. That neighborhood is where my husband is from originally, and people do housekeeper shares. Like she's I mean, I don't think they're ultra religious, but they're Jewish enough that they would need like a Shabbos goyim, like someone who
someone to
does
do things on the Shabbos.
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly. So I promise you, she's making that brisket on the Friday night. She's pushing all the buttons. She's doing the laundry, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Jack
I love you.
knows.
They love her. Well, what it is that they love Tess. And
Yeah.
so we have a moment where Jamie thinks he's doing the right thing by communicating to Kathleen that Tess is nowhere around him in his like double twin hotel room. So he takes video of the refrigerator, the bathroom, behind the doors, underneath the beds to show to Kathleen that Tess is nowhere to be found. And so Jamie has a foolproof plan. He's going to go to this party. He's going to have a good time. He's going to put everything on social media to show that he has nothing to hide. Not thinking that Kathleen and all her friends are on social media, seeing video and pictures of Tess in the background having a fabulous fucking time. Whereas Kathleen is not there, not having a fabulous time, and Jamie's having a great time. So Jamie doesn't drink on this trip, and he thinks that makes him a good boy.
I just want to say this. Jamie actually thinks that people think, oh, he didn't touch her because if he touched her or if they kissed, well, he would have posted about it. Like, that's like my thought process is like, is it that if you did do something that you then would post it and then people would know, but since it's not on your timeline, it didn't happen? Like, what a wild thing to say. Like, it's like, and then I think, how much does this man post on Instagram? Like, how many stories? Like, how many little beeps?
It's not Instagram. It's Facebook.
He's Facebook storying?
Oh, yeah.
No, he can't be anywhere. He's not going to, I mean, he's posting for his mom and her friends. So, like, it's not going to be on Instagram where it's too confusing.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have a sub following on a different social platform. He's just Facebook only.
Facebook.
I'm like, how does all of Kathleen's friends follow him or not? Or they're all screenshotting and sending it, which I think is also like sort of vapid. I want to know the community that they're all in. Like, I need to know about what's happening in Cyprus, obviously. Also Tess, and not to just like beat a dead horse. Tess is beautiful. Tess is hot.
Mm-hmm.
Tess is hot. I'd be like fucking okay. I get it. Like, Tess is a good looking lady. You know what I'm saying? Like, she is front and center. Like, she is right there. Like,
she's only got the one row of teeth, so it's less of a
it's less competition for bites. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, so so Kathleen and her friends called Jamie something specific, and it is
cheater
boy.
Oh, have you seen your cheater boy? I saw cheater boy on the social media. Cheater boy. Oh, I have to deal with the fact that they all call you cheater boy. Oh, and that's what she says to him. And he's just like, I'm going to spend the rest of my life trying to make sure, if it takes weeks, if it takes months, if it takes years, if it takes decades, and this motherfucker almost said centuries, and he's like, I'll wait until I have your trust back from that one time did he fuck Tess, or did he just take Tess?
I was gonna ask everyone.
Unclear.
So we have not gotten anything clear as to what the quote cheating was.
I think they just texted.
This was online cheating.
Just talked. Yes.
Oh my God! Don't say that. It's triggering Rob and Sophie for your online cheating. It's because Rob was online cheating.
Online cheating. Cheating on me online. We used to be so happy, Rob and I, and then he just started looking at women who look a bit like men, and then that's when the problem started. And it wasn't at all because I was staying with my friend Kay, who wants to sleep with me and wear my skin at night as a nightgown.
She does.
Rob,
She really does.
God,
She
that's
wants to
so
put the
wild.
lotion on its skin. That's shit. That's what Kay is all about.
Let's go out. Let's go get drunk. I'll pay for every little drink. I'll pay for everything. Just get really fucked up. And like, it's just like, Kay is absolutely too much. I mean,
Yeah.
she must see in Kay like a Claire younger energy that unfortunately, because she hasn't gone through like the trauma therapy that like we
Yep.
all know that she should go through, like she hasn't made the connection to like these overbearing women that like want her and want too much of her for some reason. Ugh. Anyway, yes, Rob. Listen, I'm like, I mean, yeah, he's a fucking nightmare. I forgot, but we're not talking about him. I can't. At some point, we have to. At some point, because they're
Well,
on.
I really was
ATA.
triggering with that online cheating.
Yeah, it's too much. Don't say online
Rob did
cheating.
worse. Rob did worse. Absolutely. Rob did a video of his D, which is dick,
Thank you.
We got
to other women on the internet, and all Jamie did is literally just like talk to his mom's scullery maid.
Yeah.
She's like, "Good
I mean,
morning, miss. Would you like me to change out the fireplace?" Like, this is just like, "Would you like your breakfast, miss?"
She's just out here, like bonking the field mice on the head. She's like taking the rug and beating it with the little, the little
Fan.
wand. She's gathering the ashes into the bucket from the coal fireplace. She's just, she's keeping it super low key, and maybe she's putting it out there. Maybe she's putting a little bit of it out there for, the anointed only son. Who could blame her? Look, it happened on Downton Abbey all the time.
Yes.
He is an idiot too. So it's like, it is actually hilarious to try and think of it having to seduce like, and by the way, if he's just, a little, neurodivergent spicy, God bless too. I'm not quite sure, but there's something about him that just, like we're not quite sure exactly.
Wait, Michelle, do you think he might be on the spectrum?
I wasn't sure, and then I talked to one of our listeners who works in adult mental health, and in her opinion, and she's like very experienced in this area, she thinks that he's not neurospicy, that it's actually what they call a failure to launch, where he's like a heavily infantilized adult. So like he, what would otherwise be called like weaponized incompetence, right? He has not had permission to kind of develop independent skills outside of his parents. So I think, I think that's a big problem with his dating life, is that actually dating Asian women on apps is probably the only like modicum of privacy he can get from his mom. And it doesn't even sound like he has that much privacy from her. Like, I think he probably had to ask, like the conversations they've had about sex, I think are a complete nightmare. I think she's like put condoms on him before, like for real, to try to teach him that that's what he has to do.
So she skipped the banana and just went straight to his dick.
I think she probably didn't, she was looking at she probably said to him like, "Oh, I changed your diapers. I'm your mom. It's not strange."
You are absolutely fucking right.
He gives me major adult baby vibes. Yeah.
Yeah. I once said that she looked like the pedophile, like neighbor on Family Guy.
Chris. Except for it's British. So Chris,
like she's.
Oh my god. Okay, you guys. So any thoughts about the 90-Day Fiancé universe that Michelle, Jack, you guys might have? Anything that's pressing on you that you want to talk about?
It's heavy on my heart. We need to talk about Tata.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's abusive.
Toe on from toe. Yes. Tata from toe.
She's abusive. The way she talks to him and gets mad and like flips on a dime and starts yelling at him. If the genders were changed, we would have a much harder time with it. And so to me, I can definitely see how she has made him feel guilty for being in the US. And that he is also a coward and a wimp.
Yes.
And so Yeah, he's very much a like sucker,
Wimpy.
coward, wimp, like PUSSY. And so
Mm.
he wants that somehow. It feels like he kind of gets off, like he finds that is the most advantageous spot for him to be in, is to be her whipping boy. And I don't like to watch it because I don't like to watch abuse, but it's also, it makes her the immediate villain. Like I want my villains to be intermediary. Like I want him to be like kind of a villain, but it's like Emily. You know what I mean? Like Emily was a villain in the
Yeah.
first season, but she
Mhm.
truly wasn't. She was never to the level of Ed or Lyda. She was just like super annoying and like probably very anxious. And now she's like, we're fine with her. But I don't like it when after episode 1, I'm like, this bit crazy.
She crying for JoJo. Ugh.
And it's also like the sound frequency that she hits, like there's all these stories that go around about how there's certain sound frequencies in places that are supposedly haunted, and so people think that it causes you to have like visual hallucinations if it's played. Like it's not a change that human ears can detect, right? But when she goes into that sort of like it's like that made me physically ill. Like Jack and his wife had to like peel me off the corner of the ceiling. I was a complete wreck from listening to
it was like that pitch, when you're at like a playground or something and you just hear a kid doing the like kind of fake cry, that was sort of the pitch. And I just was curious, talking about him being wimpy, he does have one of the most dangerous jobs in the world, does he not?
He does.
I don't
didn't know
believe
it.
that.
We didn't.
I don't believe that. I'm sorry. I don't
Do you
believe
think
it.
I didn't Google it? Do you think that
Top 10?
Top 10?
I mean, like there are men who like go underwater with like fucking like deep diving. There's just like so many different things that top 10. Okay, top 50.
100%. Top 50.
Number 49, 50. But like there are so many people who do, like all the men who built the building, the skyscrapers in New York City, who were like sitting out on a steel ledge.
Eating
That's
lunch.
dangerous. Eating lunch, yeah. That is dangerous. Like the guys who work in oil rigs, like the people who like I could just think firefighters, police officers,
coal miners.
Like there's just so many things that I can think of almost off the top of my head that does not include elevator maintenance.
He's not servicing buildings that are like, he's not in a major city. He's in like
Maine, Crabtown, Maine, USA.
I looked, he's half an hour north of Portland. There's probably like 4 buildings that are above 3 stories tall in his town.
But there's a Portland, Maine.
There is a Portland, Maine.
See, that's what I'm saying. It's not even the well-known Portland.
It's not even the real Portland in your eyes.
It's not even the Portland that's like Portland. You know what I mean? Like, so don't tell me that you do the 10 most dangerous job in the world. You don't live and work in New York City, so there's nothing you could do that could be dangerous. It's just.
But also, he was grandfathered into that job, literally. Like
nepotism.
He didn't have to. I just don't think he's made many independent choices in his life, and he's been like, I think he needs to be with someone who lives for chaos, because otherwise like he just doesn't feel anything and doesn't do anything. But this is too much. And the medical stuff, like if she actually has like a growth, like
which
there's
she does.
no,
we do see something going on there.
Yeah, there is something happening. There is no doctor in the world who would be like, oh no, just chill with that, it's fine.
Well, we don't know what Maine healthcare was like. That is the truth. We don't actually know. You're thinking about all the major metropolitan cities and or surrounding states.
Yeah,
Maine
that's
is
true.
so far from anywhere major metropolitan that like we can't even begin to think about what their doctors are like, especially when they see like a brown woman that they're like, where are you from? Like just traditionally doctors treat brown women, black women like differently.
No, it's true. Yep.
I just don't know. Like my skeptical American brain goes, them racist white people up in Maine are not taking care of this girl in the way she needs to be taken care of.
I hear you. Yeah, that's something I hadn't
So Maine feels sort of like Eastern Canada to you. It's like just kind of like way up
Newfoundland?
there.
Yes.
There you go. Okay, good.
Newfoundland. Yeah. It's just like they're like people who don't look like us. Dangerous. Like, you know what I mean? Just like,
I'm sorry, we can't help you. You don't look like us.
We can't help you. We don't understand what your blood is like. We don't know what that is. You guys bleed red? What's that?
Speaking of women of color in medicine, what's y'all's read on corona? What's going on there? Because this is another box of rabbits where I'm like, is every person on this show autistic now? Like, is this because were they like, well, it really brought something special and now we're exclusively casting people who just
Michelle, just to tie that together, you had also felt that Tata's friend who she was speaking to, who had no empathy and no ability to kind of parse her words a little bit.
Oh, she was just a psychopath. There's no, like, if that's even if that's an acquaintance who you met at a party, if I'm next to someone who's sobbing like that, I'm going to at least demonstrate some empathy. I'm not going to be all like, oh, he didn't tell you that he doesn't want to have children with
I would
you?
leave.
I disagree.
You cannot be weaponizing your tears in front of me for no reason. Because why are you crying?
Think about it. Think about if you actually had to be around Tata. That girl just met her a couple months ago. They're not really that close. In fact, she says that she hangs out with all three of them, and that's going to obviously come out later, whatever it was.
Right.
So that girl is just hanging out. She's around. Not a lot of people in Maine. She just will come anywhere just to do jewelry that someone's going to sell and never give her money for. That's how bored this person is, okay? So all I'm saying is she was hanging out for a while with Tata. Tata's like, come to my house again, do jewelry that I'm going to sell for free. Not going to give you any money. And then let it be known to you that I'm leaving tomorrow. Didn't care about you enough as a friend to even tell you. Mm-hmm. And then you're like, that's it. Oh, you're just, okay, well, I guess. Okay. And then you let loose something real easy. Like, last time I was hanging out with your, husband, because I hang out with both of you, like, because to hang out with him, I hang out with you. He let it be known that, like, you might not have kids right away because he's really, he's a little nervous to have them kids. And then she loses her mind in front of you. I think that I wouldn't be like, oh my God, you're right. I think I'd be like, I'm so happy you're fucking leaving. I think I'd be like, get me out of this free jewelry making machine / warehouse that I'm like subjugated to. Like, get me out of here. I can't
Nike
stand
factory.
you. Give me your rest of your beads. I'll go sell them somewhere else,
So it's more of a like, you are not going to hold me hostage emotionally the way that you do with your husband. I mean, to be fair, I am completely on his side about not wanting to have children because I would be looking at her and being like, this is a lot already. This is like something that this is a whole second career, is managing this woman, my wife. Adding a baby on top of that. And that the minute that first of all, no one's ever going to be allowed to touch the baby. And secondly, the minute the baby has any ability to be away from her, even for like half an hour, she's going to get jealous of the baby and it's not going to be a good situation. Then she's going to get really sick. Then she's going to get, it's going to be life-threatening, honey. It's not going to, this is not something that, it's not going to go good, in the words of Darcy.
Something a little lighter on these two before we wrap up on them. I just wanted Michelle to share. She said that James he was like a butter teeth type of person. And I was sort of like, okay, so he's attractive to you except for the teeth, right? That's like how we might hear butter teeth. Michelle, what did you mean by butter teeth? Because it's really haunted me and stayed with me ever since you said it.
So like, I've got, because I smoked for years, right? And I'm a coffee drinker. I've got, my teeth are not pristine white, and I did get them whitened years ago. Please don't ever do that. It's the most painful thing, and nobody tells you how painful it's going to be, and it will just absolutely ruin your life. So don't do it. If you're thinking about doing it,
it's great.
Think about something else. You don't get your teeth whitened.
I do.
Do you?
I drink coffee and smoke vapes.
Okay.
You're getting away from
you
the
do
butter teeth.
You do the light thing. Okay, I'm just saying you can get away with so my teeth are off-white, but they're hard and you can tell because I've got big pony teeth. These are strong chompers, right? For him, he's got yellow teeth, but they're soft.
Oh.
It's kind of like a slick, kind of soft tooth situation where you might knock one of them too hard and it falls out.
Oh, we got to look next time.
I'm sorry to give you all that visual,
No,
but I needed
thank
to
you.
share.
No, I need to look
I'm
at
glad you did. That's a
Yeah.
nightmare. I have actually reoccurring nightmares that my teeth fall out or it's never happened. I have good strong teeth. It's just that they're small for my face. They're just a little smaller for my face. Whatever, God bless. But it's an anxious dream that I have a lot. So I'll probably have it tonight.
I've had it.
No, I've never had those dreams.
And by the way, it's supposed to mean that you have anxiety about taking care of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So they say.
You're one of the few smokers in California, Jack. How is that for you?
Well, not smoking actual cigarettes, just vapes. Just vapes. Quit the cigarettes long time ago. Although I got the proper damage to my vocal cords, which gave me a VO career. So
okay. Oh, great. Oh, I love that for you.
Yes.
All right, you guys. So that's it for our episode. We thank you so much for joining us. You guys check out BlightyDay Fiancé on anywhere that you listen to podcasts. I'm going to let them talk about their socials and whatnot, but super funny duo. You get the across the pond perspective from Michelle, which is so great. Great quips, great laughter, as you can tell from this episode. But I'll let you guys talk about your socials.
Yep. So we are at BlightyDay Fiancé on Instagram and X, probably. I need to be more up on that. You can join our Facebook group, BlightyDay Bays. Blighty again is spelled Blighty. Bays is spelled Baes. If you want all killer, no filler, no ads, no nothing, go on our Patreon, patreon.com/BlightyDay. For $5 a month, you get all of our materials ad-free. For $10 and $15, you get you also get a bonus episode of the $5 tier. At $10 and $15, you get video. If you're 15 and you're a big spender, a Prince Louis, then you will get everything that's already been mentioned, and you get to choose what our weekly bonus episode is. So this week, we are recapping the seminal romantic comedy from 1992, The Cutting Edge.
Oh, I love Cutting Edge. Oh, I love it so much.
We'll send you the episode.
Oh my God, I love it so much.
I never watched it. Let me look it up.
Oh my God, it's so
DB
good.
Sweeney, Moira Kelly, Olympics,
Kelly.
hockey player turned figure skater.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
And he drops and remember they have a great montage. Oh my God, nothing like a sports montage.
Right.
Oh, when they have to get it. Yes. Oh,
What was the most the most disturbing thing? Terry O'Quinn plays the father in that movie. He's from Lost. Did either of you watch Lost?
No. First season, and after that, they didn't tell me what was going on, and I quit.
Okay, well, he's a bald gentleman, but he has hair in the back, and he had a pencil thin mustache. So I had to look because the movie's 32 years old, and I was like, "How old is Terry O'Quinn?" He was 38 when he made that movie, which is younger than I am now.
They looked so old. Let me tell you that a neighbor of mine who is Russian, she's like, I'm going to a movie night tonight with my friends. And so what should I watch? Now, your girl is just driving home from the pole class. Okay. She's just minding her own business. So I was like, oh, The Breakup, True Lies, Kindergarten Cop, Rocky, The Upside of Anger, The Bodyguard. Why did I give her all of these 90s movies? Why did I give her, why was I just 40-year-old virgin. I just watched 40-year-old virgin 2 months ago for the first time ever.
Great
I literally gave her True Lies and Kindergarten Cop. I said, there's 2 Arnold Schwarzeneggers for you.
I was going to say, that's a lot of Schwarzenegger right there. Yeah, twins too.
It's a lot of Schwarzenegger. It's also a lot of Kevin Costner with The Upside of Anger and The Bodyguard. Thank you. You're welcome, everybody. Have a good day.
Wait, can I say something? If we're shooting this on a Saturday, and who knows when anyone will actually hear it? Probably never. I'm just kidding, and people hear it. But tonight on Lifetime, I'm watching, and I have no part of this. This is not sponsored.
Oh,
No,
Amish,
not
whatever?
SpawnCon. Yes, not SpawnCon. There's just a fucking movie called Amish Affair, and listen, I watched the trailer, and the trailer is just one girl churning butter, and she's like, we didn't have this in my family. And then a very Dom Daddy looking over her.
Yeah.
And then it goes, inspired by true events. And then my jaw unhinged from myself. And it's like, listen, it's a true story about obviously an Amish affair. That's all I fucking know, except at some point police are involved.
But here's also the thing.
And it's tonight.
The way that they have this man and this woman, just the most beautiful, dark-haired people you've ever seen. And the Amish look like inbred, like Dutch glass from the past. Like, no, I watch Amish whatever, and they all look
escaping
crazy.
Amish.
Yeah, they all look crazy. They've all had a lot of high fructose corn syrup. Like, it is like they're the opposite of whatever it is, that whatever purity, whatever they're trying to give off. They look like the original man. They give off Neanderthal, like Corona's man, Niji or whatever. That is a Neanderthal square head individual from Iceland. Like, it's just like, I'm like, listen, there are beautiful people of every culture. There's the hot people, you've got your Catherine Zeta-Joneses, you've got your Charlize Therons, and you've got your Thor, and you've got your Captain America, right? You got those people, but then you've got some crazy ass looking people, and those are the Amish.
Now, Chris, I have to ask you, and I did mention this to you a couple of weeks ago, but I was the Lifetime Movie Network and all associated materials are what I miss most about the US of A.
You said Lifetime Movie Network. It is Lifetime television for women. Go ahead.
Oh, it's on the okay. All right. Make a note, Jack. That's what we're watching tonight.
Chris, now you've set up my evening, everyone, for my wife and Michelle to go off into Lifetime land.
So, Chris, I was watching, I can't remember the name of the film, forgive me, but it's one of those, like, this bitch is crazy and people aren't catching on quickly enough. Like, that's the genre of Lifetime. And I saw your beautiful face playing a receptionist. And I have to ask you, if that lady who was crazy, because she's done a couple of this bitch is crazy and no one's caught on yet. I've forgotten the name of the actress, and of course, because was she actually
was that the one with Elizabeth Berkley?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wait, Chris, are you in Scrubs in that one?
No. Okay. That's the one with Kristen Martin. That was Mystery Woman in the Shadows. And then I did Black Widow, which I think is this.
That's what it was. It was Black Widow with Yes.
And Elizabeth Berkley. And Elizabeth Berkley was used to come into my restaurant a lot. I worked at the time too. I worked at Real Food Daily, which is like an organic vegan restaurant in LA, and it used to be like the only one. And so like literally any celebrity would be there, because now they have all the options, but she would come a lot. She was always so nice. It was just like unnerving, because like she didn't have to be. I mean, she's like a ray of fucking sunshine, that Elizabeth Berkley, and like, it's so funny what a career. Like, Showgirls is like a Bible to so many people. And obviously I watched a lot of Saved by the Bell. She was incredibly kind when I worked with her. And I think that at the time when I worked with her, I then would serve her at Real Food Daily. I don't know if she quite made the connection that like a week later she saw me, but that's fine. That's fine. It's long as you don't try and like get me fired from my job, like, and you're a celebrity, I'm like pretty fucking good with you. Which, by the way, is what Ellen did. Which, by the way, is like why I low-key became famous a little tiny bit in the middle of pandemic. And which, by the way, she just canceled a bunch of her fucking
Oh my God. You were the one. She complained about your manicure, your nails.
Yes. That's
that
Chris
was
Farah.
you?
Yeah, it was me.
Chris Farah. Chris Lee Farah. My friend. That's my friend, Chris Farah.
That is the most famous thing about me, is that at one point she fucking tried to get me fired, and then I came for her, and then she's now fired, because if you try and fuck with me, I'll fuck you.
She
okay.
is
I'll fuck with you. I mean, I'm gonna fuck you.
Because I was like, I didn't know that that's what you wanted, and now it's clear to me. Good. Good to know, everyone. Clarified that up. That Chris will not fuck you. She'll just fuck with you.
But it's been such a pleasure having you guys on the show.
Oh, it's so great. And I can't wait to see you in a couple of weeks.
I know it. We're going to have like a fabulous time. We'll go somewhere just like quintessentially either LA or like, beautiful. It'll be like al fresco or something absolutely lovely. We'll do something
Just
very
get her
fun.
off that line from Maru. Keep trying to get her away from there.
I'm going to be
upscale coffee place with a line around the block for those not in the LA area.
Listen, I'll pay anything for anything, but if I can, I'll try and get you for a drink something. Maybe I'll try and get you around 4:00 so you can't have any more coffee.
All right, you guys, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you. We love you guys.
We love you.
To our audience, if you guys would like to see the visuals of what you're listening to, please join us on patreon.com/DocuSweeties for $10 a month. You get a live every first Monday of the month, plus other goodies. So if you're at all interested in that content and or you want to just support us, please join us at patreon.com/DocuSweeties, $10 a month. But if you can't do that, and Chris will show you some free ways that you can support us. Chris?
Well, honey, listen, obviously you're going to go and follow at BlightyDay on all their social medias. And like those social medias are Instagram. We're at DocuSweeties. We have X sometimes. We have a 1 at the end of our name on X. I don't know why. That's why I don't update it. We have a Facebook group as well, guys. The DocuSweeties podcast Facebook group. We also have a YouTube. Please go and subscribe if you haven't given us 5 stars and a helpful review. We certainly would love it. I know they would too. So go and do it both. You're already on your app. Other than that, obviously, thank you so much for coming on our podcast. And we're going to, enjoy some fun times together. Everyone else, have a great July. You do you. It's okay. We'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.